And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is another amazing episode of Keeping It Real. And I've got an amazing guest here in the house today, Mr. Joshua Keith. Josh, welcome to the program, my friend. How you doing today?
Very good, man. It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw yesterday you were looking to get on a couple podcasts, and I figure I like having new guests that I've never met before. We literally have known each other about 2 minutes. So
Right?
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend? I know you were getting ready to unveil some new things, and here's a platform for you to announce whatever you like to the world, sir. Go for it.
Cool. Well, I feel warmed up. I just got off of a podcast at 10, and I was blessed because I posted that post on Facebook, and man, I had like 12, 15 people. I can't even keep count. It was like 12 people that hopped on. I was like, hey, I'll have you on. You know what I mean? So it's pretty awesome. The reason why I wanted to start podcasting a little bit is to get on a few people's podcasts to kind of get comfortable with the camera, be comfortable with talking in front of the world, if you will, creating content and stuff like that. And so all to create my own podcast. Don't know what I'm going to call it, but it's not entirely just roofing, right? It's just going to be kind of about business and life and more than just roofing. But I just want to get on here and hang out with some people and talk about a few things. But let me introduce myself. So my name is Joshua Keith. I own a company called Roofing Technologies Unlimited. We're out here based in Katy, Texas, Houston, Texas. We do a lot of work. Yeah, we do a lot of work out here in Fulshire, Richmond, Katy. One of my big things was, for me, my big claim or whatever. I'm not famous or anything, so my big claim to fame would be kind of, I did play football for a long time. I played football from the time I was 7 years old till I was 25. I played collegiate, high school, collegiate, to the pros, bounced around a few pro teams, ended up playing arena right when COVID happened. So kind of ended up getting my career cut short a little bit. Didn't want to sit around for 2.5 years. Like, we don't got anything to do. I didn't want to pay for workouts every year and still not be able to make money playing the game that I loved. And so that's when I got started. That's when I got started with roofing. I actually sold some stuff before roofing, but then I got into roofing. Do I need to turn a light in here? I don't know.
No, you're good. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to, you can. I don't know. I just
Let
have
me turn
I have my screen kind of on black, so I don't know what's up. Anyways, real quick, before we get too deep into this, I'd like to mention I do have a brand new sponsor on my screen today. It is Business 411.
Yeah.
I'm super proud to be part of the team at Business 411, and we offer all solutions for roofing companies, small, medium, and large, marketing, branding, and sales training. So if we can help you with any problem that you have, which everybody's got some, Business 401 is the answer. So thank you to them for being my brand new sponsor. Anyway, continue, my friend.
They're awesome. I love Elizabeth. She's awesome.
Absolutely.
She's a great business owner. I've used them, actually kind of worked with them a little bit last year. We got one of their books, their training manuals, and it kind of helped me and my brother, line up. And he comes from a different background. I don't have 50 years of experience of roofing, so it helped kind of vamp us up and get us rolling. So we're really thankful for Business 411, and shout out to them. Get going with them.
I'm definitely going to clip that right there, and that's going to be like my thing that I'm going to put out immediately when we finish this episode today, because that was awesome. I appreciate that, and it was not expected. So
yeah, dude,
you just got my energy level up a little bit.
We use Roofr too, the instant estimator. I love it. I'm a huge fan of both things. So this is a great podcast. This is my second ever podcast.
Nice. And I know the first one was Marquise, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was over there and I went over with Marquise and went to the studio. So check that one out. That one was we got into some cool stuff and some innovative things that we're doing here in Houston and with my company, and kind of give you a little bit more background about me. I obviously football was my big thing, and I didn't know what to do when it all came down, when the world was ending, right? COVID-19.
Oh yeah.
And so I just was like, what do I do? So I went and actually sold receipt tape advertising on the back of the receipt did H-E-B's and Kroger's, and that was really challenging. It was a really hard job. Was not easy to do, especially in that pandemic time. It was just like business owners were like already like going downhill, and it was like another expense was like not, something they wanted or even wanted to hear. And that's exactly what I was like, hey, this is recession proof. You need to do this, And it just didn't work out for me as well as it did for my dad. My dad started in that company a long time ago, back in 2001, helped build it up to what it is now. He's a national VP, very important person for that company. And I got an opportunity. I was graced with an opportunity after all my life. My whole life's work was like come to completion almost. Felt like that anyway. Very heartbreaking thing, not making it completely into the NFL. Made it further than most, but didn't make it to the point where I was consistently making money and that kind of thing. So when I started selling that, it kind of was like training for me in a way for roofing. Because it was like roofing sale is super easy, It's like
right. Like nobody understands that's on the outside of the roofing industry, but roofing sales is pretty easy.
Yeah, roofing.
You've got a definite need for our presence in your home, and it's pretty amazing. I think
my one thing my one thing is integrity pays. Integrity pays in dividends that like you can't really work for it, right? Like it's like you can be a very high integrity person and they're going to refer you a couple months down the line. They're going to refer you right then and there. And like those referrals mean a lot to contractors like us, and integrity pays, having integrity with the homeowners and honestly doing what you say you're going to do has been the two biggest things that I've taken away in the last 2.5 years contracting. And I love it, man. I love it. Don't you love this? This is a great thing we get to do, man.
It's incredible, right? I've been in the industry for 25 years and I've done every job that you can think of. I was not really ever a roofer per se. Like I never installed roofs. I helped on a couple very briefly and I realized, I'm better talking than I am like swinging hammers.
Sure.
But in 25 years, it's crazy. And I just started this new venture with Business 411 about a month ago.
Yeah,
so it's going in a completely different direction with the industry for me. And that's kind of been my thing. About maybe every 6 to 8 years, it seems like my pattern has been, let me try something different. My first 12 years of the career were I drove a conveyor truck and I roof loaded houses. And then I went to open up a roofing supply company randomly with some guy that I met at the front door the day that we started it. And then I moved to Texas and it's like, okay. Then I moved to San Antonio and there was a dead roofing company and we ran that for a while. And along the way, you start to realize, man, I'm kind of evolving and growing into other things. And here we are. I have this podcast now. And I think this is like episode 120 or 121, something crazy like that.
Wow.
I never meant for it to happen like this, but as long as people want to do it, here we are. And I get to talk to a bunch of cool people like you in the industry. I get to talk to a ton of people out of the industry as well. My guest that I've got coming up this week is going to be a pretty unique one. But dude, there's nothing better than the roofing industry. And when I want to get some good stories of people who have overcome adversity, who are successful, who are disciplined, who have, I look to my friends in the industry because it's an amazing group of people. And y'all are never getting rid of me. I promise. Roofing industry stuck with me forever.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we're proud to have you.
For sure, dude. It's a great thing.
I look up to you just from like the stuff that I've seen on Facebook and just the involvement in San Antonio that I've seen kind of from afar. And so I look up to you there. You know what I mean? I want to know more about like obviously I want to learn more about metal. And I know you're a perfect person to go to about standing seam and any kind of metal roofing systems. That's kind of where I'm stretching myself is just the different technologies, right? That's why I named my company what I named it. Is because I want to always be stretching, what's the new things that's coming out. Like I saw diamond steel roofing at IRE and I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hey, check it out. I'm actually wearing BDR's hat today. He's the guy that's doing the diamond steel roofing, I believe, right?
Yeah.
There you go. A shout out to BDR, my buddy.
Yeah. I looked at that and I was like, I'm like, man, this stuff is so cool. Like this different stuff is so interesting to me, like the different technology that's coming out. And I just want to stay modern with it as it goes on, and just provide a high class white glove service to, high end clients, and also have the same integrity for, a 20 square shingle job. You know what I'm saying? Like, or a repair, you know what I mean? Like, roofers need to talk about repairs, like I do a bunch of repair work, we do a ton of repair work, and it's a kind of a big point of revenue for us, actually, is like, hey, if we're not, there's a lot of roofers that aren't even willing to touch that, and kind of like don't do a one shingle repair. Like, bro, that's that's $100, but I mean, still
It's
200
yeah,
bucks.
it's $100 that you can help somebody in the process. And I felt the same way. I had a repair guy, and that nobody wanted to do any of these repairs, and we just go out there and just do them, and everybody'd be happy, and their roofs would stop leaking. And it's like, man, you can make a living as a roofing repair tech, and you can make a very good living because there aren't that many people willing to do it. So just kind of a dumb mentality, but you're spot on with it there. That's the reality of it.
We take on all the work. So we take on we're broad but niche kind of in that way, where we only do like roofing and solar things, right? So it's like, that's all we do: commercial, residential, roofing and solar. That's it. I just did my first commercial job like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I think it was like 10 days ago we did it, and it was my first. It was like we just did a repair, but the repair for commercial was like,
they're amazing, right? It's like a regular roof.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like huge. I was like, and the margins are good too, right? And so it's like, you can really honestly, and then you get the roof down. The other, the new system that would maybe be something that you would do 4 or 5 years later, like, you can get that job. So I'm just planting seeds right now, and just, that's kind of why I wanted to jump on some podcasts, because like, I feel like in Houston alone, like I've done a ton of work, and I've been able to plant some seeds in the area and the communities, and kind of trying to do it the right way, making sure I do it the right way, and challenging that, actually. Am I doing it the right way? Asking like, hey, what would you do in this situation? What would you do in this situation? Like, what would you charge in this situation? And what would you maybe give away in this situation? And just kind of like looking for mentors. I got a plug right now. I got a great mentorship group with Revolt.
Nice.
They're incredible. Love those guys. Hunter Ballou, everybody over there, Michael, Marcial, like all the guys, Taylor Ammons, Dylan Mullins, like Eric O, all those guys, man, they've really been, TC Backer, everybody that's in Revolt. I can keep going names. There's just a ton of guys in there that have just this high integrity, high character, do things the right way. And like, when you have questions, you can go to them and ask for the solutions and stuff like that. And, Daniel, Rick and Meany, like, there's all kinds of just companies that are involved in that, where you can go with your problems more than just roofing, right? Like, you can go with your real problems,
Oh, I had Eric on here a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about roofers in recovery and what they're going to be doing, and they just bought a facility so they can send more people and help more people. And it's like, dude, that's what this industry is about. It's not about the old people that are getting screwed over by the shady contractors. As bad as that is, that's the part that the public sees. But what the public doesn't see is stuff like what you just said, and the fact that you can be in the industry for a couple years, and just want to learn from people. And there are people that are so willing to teach and help, because we believe in this industry and we want to make a change in it and want it to be better, because the perception is trash, and it's always been that way, because unfortunately it's been earned. A lot of people have gotten ripped off. A lot of shady contractors have done stupid things. And we live in a world where the news doesn't portray the positive side of a lot of things. So it's great to have people that are in the industry like yourself, that are wanting to learn, that are not afraid to put themselves out there either. A lot of people want to know, but they also, you go post a question on one of these Facebook groups, and God knows what kind of answer you might get. But
we should already know that,
Yeah, some of the stuff, it's like, hey, dude, you should be out of the industry if you don't know that. Well, I'm trying to get better in the industry, so help me, rather than being a dumbass. But it is what it is. So it's always refreshing to hear people that have a positive experience, for being so new in the industry and for getting things going. So that's pretty awesome. You talk about being over in Houston. I'm here in San Antonio, so we're not too far apart. I used to be in College Station there as well. What's the market like down there? You talk about doing high-end stuff, there's a huge opportunity. I'm sure a lot of storm related damage as well, but what are you mainly looking to get into down there? And, what's your main target audience? What are you looking to work with? Who's your ideal client? That's what I meant to say.
So my ideal client is just pretty much right now at this point in my business, anybody that wants to work with me, people that call me with a problem and I'm here to solve it. Right. Like the more problems I can go solve for people, the more money that our company will make. My typical like niche client would probably be, I want to really push the tile, Spanish barrel tile stuff here. We got a lot of tile in Katy, West Katy, Fulshire. There's some Brava tile and there's some stuff like that. I want to provide servicing to those typical, if I had a typical client, like I want those, and at the end of the day, like, there was a storm a couple of days ago on the 5th that came through Houston, and we've been able to get a lot of paid, a lot of insurance paid roofs, and we've been able to work with a lot of customers right in our backyard, and kind of blessed. But it wasn't like that for like a year. Like I'm sitting here, we're scrambling, trying to get retail, trying to sell, just anything really, because it was dead and slow, and really, really slow for a long time. Man, but matter of fact, I think I went over to San Antonio and had a few jobs, grabbed a few jobs in San Antonio a couple weeks ago before this storm that happened, probably in like March area. There was a couple of storms that came through, and I was able to go over there and but the typical client is like a restoration client that I can then provide a contractor grade shingle to upgrade them from their typical, builder grade shingle that is smashed to pieces from hail or wind blown off. You know what I mean? That's a typical client for us. That's our bread and butter. We're gonna do that every day but Sunday. We're gonna keep doing that. We don't have an issue with that. But then our typical client for solar is not necessarily like the net metering client, if you will. Like, and I talked about this a little bit with Marquise. Like we're really looking for the client that wants the solar. Like I don't need to sit in the homeowner's house and in 2 hours. Like I'm in and out of a house. If somebody doesn't want to buy from me, I'm in and out in 30 minutes. Like I just don't. I got too many other people that I can go help, and that's my mindset. I have an abundant mindset in that, where I don't need to go on and on and on with somebody for 2 hours. So the solar deal with the way we're going about it is we're not really just selling the offset metering program, because we believe those metering programs are going to go away. Like I believe that in all Texas, Centerpoint, all these different, manufacturer of energy, like they're going to go away. The net metering programs are going to go away. And so the microinverters stink in that reason. So I'm really more of on the side of like making sure the homeowner has a good backup energy system, where they've got a good battery that's going to power their house in an outage, a good generator that's going to power their house in any, they could really rely on it rather than the gas. So basically rely on being off with the grid and using the panels, using, all those, racking systems, different racking systems. And so we're more interested in that side of things, those type of clients that want to come to us with their projects. Like we want to do the project. All right, so we have this project we were wanting to do with solar and battery and like almost kind of like a landscaping project or like a remodel project. I'm not looking for the bread and butter cookie cutter, panel offset your meter system. I'm not doing that. I won't do that, actually. I think to me, there's a lot of solar companies, and I said this earlier, that there's a lot of solar companies right now that are just stacking. I think it's illegal, but they're putting panels on roofs, and the roofs suck. Roofs suck. That's our MO. That's my mission right there. Just that alone, stopping that from happening, like at least providing to the solar companies a way to give them an instant quote with Roofr and say, hey, at least get your roof done. If you're going to close them in-house, at least spit them out a decent roof where they're going to be able to add that into there, get the 30% buyback, and not have a leak 2 or 3 years later, or even immediately after. I had a customer call us their whole master bedroom had a line because they missed the rafter by about an inch on all the solar panels, all the racks. And then just had a line going straight down. I had to clean, renovate the entire, I did the roof and re-racked everything. It was an insurance claim. And we renovated everything. But it was like the solar company that installed it was just like careless. You know what I mean? It's just, that's where I'm that's my typical client. I don't want to work with people that are just going to just eat through it and go, you know what I mean? So hopefully,
I appreciate that so much. So you just gave me a whole bunch. So I always try to keep our episodes to about an hour. So you just gave me a whole bunch of stuff to ask about here.
cool.
I love the solar stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about the roofing. Okay. You've been in the roofing industry as a company owner for 2.5 years, you say?
No, I worked for a company. When I first got out of the league, I worked selling that advertising receipt tape, and then I went and started selling roofs on a salary plus commission gig, where you had to get to 650K in revenue before they paid you commission. Well, as a company, we did like 2.5 million in 3 months. I was a big leader in that. Did like 550,000, 500,000. Had about 30 clients that were ready to do those roofs. So I was already getting closer. I was going to have commission coming to me at some point, and they came in and they swept the whole office. And so then I started a company 2 years ago with a couple of guys. We worked, we worked for a few months, and then I left that company because it was too many Chiefs at one place, which
Yep. I understand that.
And then I went and worked for another restoration company, which was from roof to tile, or like roof to flooring. Where we did mitigation during the freeze in Houston. So I got a ton of insurance experience in that, with estimate writing and all that good stuff. And then I split off last April. So I'm actually coming on to like the year mark of this business.
Nice.
So yeah, and we've done well. For a brief stint while I was waiting for it's a partnership. So it's me and my brother that own the business. There was a brief stint while I was waiting for him to move down here to Texas. He's now moved down here since January, where I sold solar for a few months, and that kind of added the whole solar thing to it there. But yeah, I've been in roofing for 2.5 years, and going on 3 years here, couple months, and I'm excited. You know what I mean? Every year is new, and it's a roller coaster for sure, but if you're disciplined about things, and that I bring from like all of the discipline stuff that I did for football, if I bring that same mentality to this roofing, and it's definitely materialized, and we've had an amazing year. So that's why we're kind of hopping on some podcasts talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. One thing is, you kind of hit on it just slightly. It wasn't super busy here in the roofing industry not that long ago. It was kind of like in a little bit of a drought, over the last 2 years or so. And a lot of people, a lot of roofing crews are reaching out to me, especially from the Houston area, because I have so many of them down there just looking for work. There was not an overabundance. So you're just getting started with a brand new roofing company, and you're kind of jumping into like a pool that's like not got a whole lot of water in it at the moment. What's the mentality on that? Obviously, you've got a little bit of experience and can fall back on other things, but at any point during that first couple months, at least, did you have any legitimate concerns and maybe second guess any of your plan to proceed with a roofing company at this time?
Yeah, I was like looking at the economy, and like I'm like, is this the right time to do this? And really, I said I had some doubts early on, but I then created this mentality of like one a day. Like, I'm gonna go get one a day. I don't care if it's a retail, like I don't care if it's an insurance. I'm gonna go find somebody that needs help with their roofing system. And that mentality, even if I ended up with zero one day, like the mentality of doing that day, the focusing on the action versus like the number of doors that I'm gonna do, or like just focusing on the action of trying to solve the people's problem. Like, I mean, it definitely started to materialize late last year. And honestly, I couldn't do any of this without God. Like, God literally has been a huge portion in why I've been able to be successful in this. I I kind of have a testimony in that. Like I was not doing the right things last year in June, and I kind of did a 180 last June. And that was kind of where those doubts were. So April, May, June, those first 3 months of the business was where I was heavily doubting all of these things, but also not living the right way. And I had this 180 turn where I was able to transform my mind and renew my spirit and become much better at what I do after that point. And it's been transformative for our business. It's been transformative for me. And the doubts kind of started, they were here, but now they kind of went way down because I was able to perform. I was able to grab the things that I wanted. And like what you said, because like I looked at it as a good opportunity. It's like buying the dip. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, yo, there are a handful of companies out here. I mean, don't get me twisted, but like there's not a bunch of companies that are maybe trying to build a kind of a big brand for themselves. And that's what I'm trying to do with the roofing and solar combined. And I'm looking at it like a really good opportunity because like there's a lot of like companies that don't just work. You know what I mean? Like they're in business and they're getting the referrals and they're doing their thing, but they like don't like go out and like not like the hardest door to open to them is the car door.
For sure.
And like they'll go drive around and put up a sign and call that a day's work and like, oh, I got one lead or I got a referral, like a bunch of maybes. Like, nah, bro. Like we're closing deals. Like we're gonna go close deals. And that's what we're all about. And like that's what I'm all about. And because of that mentality, I looked at it like buying the dip, like a great opportunity with kind of the lull. Because I knew that at some point there's going to be, on the other side of that, there's going to be a freaking hailstorm that comes and hits Katy. And I'm getting calls all day from this receipt tape advertising I'm doing. I bought the dip. I let it saturate. I spent the money and I let it saturate. And it's, at first 6 months of that's when I was really stressing it because I was like, man, I'm spending quite a bit of money on this. Like, I don't know if it's really working. We have a hailstorm. Boom. It starts paying off like left and right. Now I've got, I'm busy to my teeth a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's a great problem to have. And I absolutely love that mindset because you're right. It gave you the opportunity to come in and not be overwhelmed. I think a lot of roofing companies start the day after a major hailstorm, and you can't sustain that very long. You've got to have some kind of preparation. You've got to have your systems in place so you know how to do it. And, I bless everybody that's willing to jump out there and try to do it because it's not an easy thing. But, being able to kind of prepare yourself for what was coming and know it was coming and just be able to say, okay, stay the course. It's going to pay off. That's awesome because a lot of people don't make it that far. A lot of people give up way before, they get to that breakthrough point. But once you get to it, like you said, you were able to build your brand, you were able to get your name out there, and top of mind awareness was present as soon as it hit. Oh yeah, time to play, right? Now you're a legitimate player in Katy, Texas, and that's a pretty big town. So congratulations on that. That's great.
And I'm coming for it all. Like I'm coming for it all. Like I'm not sitting back. Like I took today, right? I got taxes to do, so I gotta do my taxes. So that's my next meeting at 3. That's 1, whatever. It's 1:30. But I took today every day since April 5th. I've been out. We've been working 16-hour days. Like today was kind of a day for me to get on the podcast a handful and do my taxes and everything. But I don't really take days off other than Sunday, and Wednesday evenings. And those are the only times that you'll catch me not really working. Every other day I'm working. My team's working right now. They're rolling. And so we're excited to compete, if you will. And that same mentality of like kind of having a chip on my shoulder from when we didn't have a storm and when we had all these other things going on. I mean, I was still working hard and trying to make it, you know what I mean? There was times where, I think early, like I'm talking about like May, like I think my electricity bill went out. You know what I mean? Like when you're starting a business from nothing and all your money on starting the business, it's like, holy crap. You know what I mean? Like it all happens really fast. And now I'm in a house and now I'm, you know what I mean? Like I've definitely pressed up. I wrapped my truck. I'm looking at buying a nicer truck and hiring a bunch of people. That's where I'm really focused right now is like, how can I, level up and help other people do the same thing. And that's kind of where we're at as a company. We just got a brand new Houston office downtown, and so we're excited. We are a legitimate player. I appreciate you saying that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, you put in the work.
It felt like for 6 months we weren't a legitimate player in this area. Now that we've worked, I think that we're making progress to becoming really legitimate. As soon as I get a team of 50 people, would be great. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, hey, I know a guy that can help you with your scalability of your company and all that stuff. And I'm referring to myself, obviously, but
Hey.
that is absolutely amazing, and I love it. And okay, let's fast forward. Okay, what's the ultimate game plan for the company? What type of revenue are you shooting to achieve? How many people do you want to have on your team? How many families do you want to be able to support? How many people do you want to be able to provide a positive lifestyle for?
That's a great question. I think that one of my things that I've really been seeing a lot is if you've got 200 people and you've got $100 million company, you're not really even making that much money, and you're still super busy. Whereas you have 10 to 15 people and you got a $50 million company, you guys are bringing in that dough. You guys are bringing in that stuff. You guys are legitimate players. You're doing great service, and it's not as you're building that referral network, and it's all starting to come to you at that point. So I think our goal is long term, never to sell. We're never going to sell this.
I love it.
We're never going to sell. We're always going to be in the roofing and solar game in this space. We may, at some point, in 10 years or 15 years, when we've built up a legitimate book of business that is undeniable, we may, start doing other business things as well, right? Entrepreneurs, right? We're not just, but, we're focused on this one business, and I'm really not looking this year. We're looking to do about 7 million this year. And this year is going to be a test for us, in the next 6 months for sure. With this fresh storm, dabbling a little bit in commercial, getting the residential stuff, and kind of just working really, really hard to do that. Long term, I want to be in and out, 50 million a year, in and out, very good high revenue, and then keeping our costs down, but providing undeniable white glove service that's just beats everybody's up, very, very customer oriented and client based and that type of thing, where we're getting referrals and ultimately not having to do a bunch of door knocking. Now, door knocking, I think, is essential in roofing and solar space, but I want it to be where that people are coming to us with their projects. Like they've got a 70 square tile roof that they want a professional company to bid and look at and do those types of things. I want that customer to come to us. I don't want to go knock in the rich neighborhood or whatever. I don't want to be in. I want them to call us and then we'll come out. You know what I mean? So that's that's kind of where my goal is to be. I don't want to be flying drones around a neighborhood trying to spy on people's properties. I want people to know who we are and have our reputation, high integrity, where that character drives all of our business. Because I do believe that pays the most.
It does. It's the most sustainable
form of advertising possible. So,
without a doubt, having that network and just people spreading the good word about you, like Ed Milet says, be evangelical about your cause, and people are going to follow suit. So that's amazing. I've always tried to be that way as well. If you do the right thing, people are going to reach out to you. And some of the most complimentary things that have happened to me in my career are things where, friends from California or Michigan or North Carolina will send referrals to me. And it's like, hey, my aunt lives in College Station. I know you're there. Will you do the roof? And that's just awesome. And it's like, okay, you've done well, and people respect that and they appreciate it. And you can never have too many quality people in this industry. That's for sure. And, for every one quality that comes in, we can shove one of those bad ones out of the way. So
that's right.
That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff.
I had a client call me the other day where I had done his father's roof and I fought State Farm tooth and nail. I think I went 4 or 5 times back to get it paid for. But I ended up getting his roof paid for, and I did exactly what I said I was going to do, and I stick to my word on those things. And a year later, like literally a year after I replaced his roof, he called me, and he has this major, huge project in Fort Worth that he knows, and it's like 150 square mansion house that we're going to build in Wednesday next week. And this poor lady, she owned the house, and it's kind of gone awry, and there's been holes in the decking for a year. They kind of like let go of the building, so it's like it's going to turn into a remodel of the whole place, the whole house, and it starts with the roof. And I'm blessed because I worked really hard for that one customer to get the referral of a 150 square mansion in Fort Worth that is not even my market. But I've got my team. We can go out there and get that thing done, redeck it, and get it all done. I mean, huge contract that, you can't knock on enough doors to get. I mean, knocking on doors is what drives that, in my opinion. I think you knock on the doors to drive that, that type of business. But I like what, Dimitri talked about too, where it's like, you got to do other things than just knock on doors. You got to get the advertisements out. You got to get the direct mail out. Shout out to Dope Marketing. We got to get the ads and all those things on there. You got to get all those things put together and build that grassroots model of high integrity and character. And then your business will take care of you. And you don't have to you know what I mean? You don't have to knock doors 15 hours a day. Now, you still got to do what it takes. You know what I'm saying? And I respect the business owners that go out and knock on doors themselves, because I'm one of them. I get on roofs every single day, every day.
I love that.
I postpone meetings to do things like this, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting on roofs every day, because that's as a leader, that's what my job is.
For sure. And I think that sometimes people lose sight of that. The higher up you get in the company, the less you actually have to go out and do that stuff. You start to kind of lose sight of how important it is. But I was helping a guy over here in San Antonio yesterday, just with a consultation. He had some questions. So we met a buddy of his with an apartment complex, and we're just going over it. And I thought, this is the part of the industry that I really love. The part of my job when I was a roofing contractor, I liked going out and talking to the homeowners and doing that fun stuff that I did when I was a sales rep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other stuff just kind of drove me insane. But I can appreciate it, because it keeps you energized. You're invigorated by the interaction you've got with your clients. And, if you have too many lines and you don't get to go out and do that on a regular basis, you certainly lose sight of it. And I think that's where a lot of companies start to have issues, honestly. So kudos to you for that. You've got a team behind you. How big is your team right now as we speak, a year in?
So it started with me. And my brother was kind of more, he still was in DC, but it started with me. I was able to drum up enough business to move my brother down. Now it's me and my brother. He's my business partner and my better half, man. The dude is awesome. He's just an incredible older brother. He's 10 years older than me. Managed a $15 million country club. Operations manager, was a number 2, detailed down to the napkin, has learned this roofing industry. Credit to Business 411, has been able to get in there and really just get after it on the training side of things. And man, you could call him, he'll sell you a roof, right? He's all over it. And I'm telling you, he's really a real pivotal reason. So the team is really me and him. And then we've got another guy, his name is Christian. He started no knowledge in roofing. And in 6 months, I've been able to turn him into a 6-figure a month type of producer. And man, he's awesome, man. I love him to death. He's a great worker. He works really hard. I just wrote a fat commission check to him. Fat commission check. It almost was like, I almost want to get a whole, a big check, and give it to him like that. You know what I mean? It was just a massive check. Then I've got a lady who's a little bit older. She's a massage. She has clients that she gives massages to. And these clients that she gives massages to are, come to the house. And so she's talking about the roof with them, and she's, got a handful of stuff in there. And then we've got another rep as well, who also is a GC, and we actually have kind of a vertical kind of alignment partnership with some of our interior GC work where we've got, maybe a foot, a little spotting on a roof or something. We're going to come in, replace a little drywall, paint it over, texture it, and all that good stuff. And so we've got a team of 5 people, right? So it's just a small team, but I love my small team. I actually have gone through about 8 other people that have, I had 2 people come out, throw on a shirt for an hour of door knocking. I'm sitting there door knocking with them, trying to teach them. And they're like, yeah, it's not for me. Two hours later. Yeah, it's not for me. Hey, just give me my shirt, man. Enjoy it. Peace. Thanks, man, for your opportunity, whatever. And then I've had a couple of reps that I had to let go of, just because we just, bad apples, just didn't see the same vision, didn't see the same thing. And so at the end of the day, like, I love my team, and I pour into my team. Even anybody and everybody that comes into the company, I'm pouring into you. And
I love it.
I'm currently looking for, like sales positions. Like if you want to come out and learn how to sell, follow a process, you'll make 6 figures. You can turn it into a career if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to last. It's not going to be something that you want to do. And there's no hard feelings on that. You got to enjoy like the hustle of it. And it's really not even hustle. I like to correct myself when I say hustle, because everyone's so used to saying hustle, but it's really a heart posture. It's really a heart posture to serve others, right? It's really like washing people's feet a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like going in and like really, really taking care of somebody and making sure that you meet all their needs as a contractor, and then being upfront and honest about the payments and how to pay and all those things. So I love my little 5-person team. We are looking to grow. I'm going to probably cap it out at like 15 to 20 people. And I will probably be done. I probably have enough people on my team for multiple years, 5 to 6 years or 7 years for my team to get, 15 to 20 people. About half being in sales and, half being in the back office. But all the sales people are going to be superstar solution managers. They're going to be able to solve the problem. You know what I mean? Whatever that problem is, they're going to solve it. So just trying to recreate myself only 9 more times, 10 more times.
Yeah, it's simple to do, right? Hey,
right.
If you can do it once, you can do it 10 times. That's the way I look at it. I've tried. I think I've done it like once or twice, but
it's tough.
Thousands of attempts. But hey, you make a very good point there. And it's one of these deals where you bring in people and you're always trying to prospect and recruit. And I'm sitting at a restaurant, and if the waiter or waitress does a good job, I'm like, hey, are you happy here? How much money are you making? Sure. Whatever. A solar guy knocked on the door the other day. I was at a buddy's house, and that was the first thing I asked him. How much you making, man? Are you happy with what you're doing? And he's like, yeah, it's cool. Or no, he was selling pest control. And it was like, hey, man, can you make this much money doing that? Or how much do you make? And you're always looking for those people. But just because you see something in them doesn't mean that they always see what's in them as well, And a lot of people get discouraged in this because the majority of these positions are 1099. A lot of them are starting to switch, which I think is a pretty positive thing as well for, sustainability. But it's hard. You have to hire people with the realistic expectation that, to do your proper training, to learn this and to really get going, it's probably going to take you 3 months, to at least get ingrained into it, to where people know what you're doing, to where people see that you're making progress and you're going to stick to it. How do you keep people from getting discouraged? Because it happens quite a bit, but it sounds like once they get discouraged, you're just quick to say, hey, okay, it's not going to work. And we're not going to have any negativity in our office.
Yeah, I really am quick with that. I mean, I'm being honest with you. I'm a hire, train you up, and fire quickly. Like I'm not playing games. I do not care. We're not here to be best friends. You know what I mean? Business is business. However, most of the people and the majority of the people on my team currently, when I'm investing the type of time into them, we become great friends, actually. And they recognize and they have that respect and adoration for how much I'm investing and how much I'm trying to teach them the things that they need to know to benefit them. And the people that reciprocate that the most always perform better than the ones that are like, I'm trying to pour into you. I'm pouring into you, okay? and they're almost resisting and trying to recreate the wheel or reshape it for themselves. And there's always some kind of tension, right? There's a little bit of tension there. And that's where I have an issue, because I'm saying, look, if you just listen to what I'm saying, it's going to better you. But I'm not really, I give them a chance, you know what I mean? I'm going to, at least be a 90-day, 120-day kind of person where I'm going to, I'll put somebody on a draw if I'm investing in somebody, right? I had a guy come, I interviewed Friday. I interviewed him, and he's sitting there telling me he's got a whole resume and a sheet saying he wants to be a production manager and just this, he wants to be a site manager and he just wants to manage, and that things that he doesn't want to do on the resume was sales, this and that. And then but here's the funny thing. He's getting in I'm sitting there interviewing. He's like, yeah, man, I am just like, there is just no way that I can sell. I'm not selling. I can't sell anything. It's not something that I can do. And he said it repetitive over and over and over. And I said, well, look, man, you just sold me on the fact that you can't sell. What makes you think you can't sell a roof? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to reverse that mindset of going, look, man, my positions are open right now in sales. I've got my ops and my production guys that are doing great. If you can sell me on the fact that you can't sell, you can sell a roof.
Exactly. You know what? And it's so funny. That story is incredible. And I've got the exact same story. There was a guy that I was talking to here in San Antonio probably 3 or 4 months ago. And he was on the app Nextdoor, and he was just looking for a temporary job, right? So again, always recruiting. I reach out and I'm like, hey man, do you think you could sell roofs? No, absolutely not. I don't know anything about roofs. And I'm like, well, tell me about your background. I sell medical equipment, or I sell fitness equipment, gym equipment.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, okay, so how long have you been doing that? 35 years. And I said, so what makes you think you can't sell roofs? Like, well, I don't know anything about roofs. I said, okay, look, the truth of the matter is this. We could go to the same fitness supply store together, and I could sell a exercise bike today. Like, I could go in and sell an exercise bike. I'd find someone that was out of shape, and I'd say, hey, do you want to get in better shape? Here's how you do it. Boom, there's your bike. And the guy just kept insisting, no, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I said, you're actually a tremendous salesman, because you've completely convinced me now that you can't sell, because you just told me you can't sell. And I said, the truth is you could probably sell better than anybody I've talked to. But if you don't believe in yourself like this, then
that's right.
Have a nice day. And who knows what the guy ended up doing? He never even responded. But
well, we're probably gonna counter offer this kid. We've been interviewing Friday. We're gonna counter offer him with a mix and match, because my top producer right now, he came to me kind of like looking for that security. He came for that security. He's like, man, I kind of like, I need like that, I need that, that security.
A little guaranteed.
A little guaranteed. And I'm like, dude, I'll give you a little guarantee up front, no problem. But when you get going, he's like, but when I get going, I just want to transition into just a production manager. Man, that dude would not take no production manager job ever. He's loving life with what he's doing as a salesperson, because he realized that, oh, well, this is not hard. And this is actually, I can actually control my day. I can control my hours. I can do whatever I want. I can go work out in the mornings. I can, and then getting out in the afternoons and get my one that I need, or, and you only need one a month to hit these numbers that you were talking about security. I can do that in my sleep.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, exactly. And so I proved him. He came to me like that. So I'm going to do the same thing with this kid. I'm going to say, look, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to give you an opportunity to be in the operations side of things, but you got to go set appointments. In order to make this money, you got to go set appointments first. And you're going to have office time in the morning to prove yourself there. And then in the afternoons, you got to go work to make this every 2-week money. You're going to have to go out and set appointments. And I'm sure of it that he'll set appointments and do great, especially with this fresh storm that just happened.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's amazing how it can change just like that, right? And I had a young man that was probably the most shy and timid human being that I've ever known. And my goal was to break him out of his shell, right? So he was a metal specialist, a fabricator that
cool.
I've known for years. And I brought him over with me and I was like, all right, like sell a roof, dude. Like, let's just like, my goal is for you to sell a roof. And he's like, no way, I can never. This dude was so natural at it. He hated it still, and he ended up not sticking. But he just walked in, and it's like, hey, it was a R panel roof on a mobile home, and he knew so much about it. He's explaining everything to the guy, and he's like, yeah, actually, I'll make all this stuff myself, and I'll fabricate it all. And he's like, well, how much is it? And the guy's like, it doesn't even matter, dude. Like, where can I sign? And it was an R panel, and it was about a $40,000 roof, I believe, just on a barn out in the country in College Station. And he looked at me and he's like, what just happened? And it's like, dude, you just made more money today than you made in the last 3 months as what you were doing before. And it's incredible. But once they get that first taste of it, I was the same way. I was in distribution for 15 years. And when I came over, I had a hard time initially with sales. I almost got out of it completely because I was struggling so much. And then you just have that one breakthrough moment and it takes you to that next level. And once you hit it, oh, dude, there's nothing better. Roofing sales to me is the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And I want to help so many people. I get to go teach some different roofing companies. I go to visit with their sales teams, and it's so amazing when you're in with, I'm in Oklahoma City and I've got a company there that I was with, and you can see their guys from when they first come into the industry to like year 1, year 2, year 3. And now they're $1 million producers, and they're teaching the next level of guys, and they're out there just putting themselves out there. And to me, it's just so cool when you see that, because the majority of people that start this are like, I don't know anything about roofing. I can't sell things. I'd never have done that. I don't know anything about it. But once you get that inspiration and you realize it, dude, there's like nothing better. That's what I love about roofing.
Yeah, I love that too. I mean, when I first got started in roofing, there was a 4-pitch roof, and I was like, wait, you have to. When I got signed up with this company, I was like, wait, you got to get on the roofs to sell them. You got to get on them. And I was freaking out because I'm like, I'm a bigger guy. And I was like, man, can it even hold me? Like, are you sure I can get on this? And he's like, yeah, bro, get on the roof, man. It's a 4-pitch roof. And I went to go take my first step, and I could not get off the ladder.
Dude, at 412 at that point is like, you might as well be looking straight up at the sky. I totally know your feeling.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was wearing the hard rubber shoes, like some Jordans or something, hard rubber shoes. So it wasn't terrible for the roof anyway. And I took one step on the roof trying to get off the ladder, and it slipped down, got right down the road. Still sold the roof, but somebody else did the inspection. I then, started getting on them, and I started getting like a thrill from it. And I was like, man, this is kind of fun actually. Like I kind of like being up here, and it's like kind of peaceful, and like you can kind of just look and sure enough, man, my fear of getting on a roof, selling a roof, like I didn't know you had to have a ladder and to do all these things. I was kind of like, it was like a shocker. I was just simply signing up for the salary plus commission gig. I was like, I was down on my luck, had nothing going for me, and more football, all that good stuff. And when I, got this salary position, it kind of changed my life because, it clicked immediately with the sales, just because from the previous sales stuff that I was doing, going into businesses, trying to sell them with business owners, I could relate the business owner to the homeowner. And man, I sold 14 roofs my first week. Like I went crazy. Didn't make a lick of that commission, but you got
the experience, and that's worth a lot.
Yeah, I got the experience, and not only that, but I got the model of what they do with their business. And that to me was worth more too. Like I was able to learn, the insurance process very thoroughly with that company. And it was like almost like paid training, you know what I mean, to kind of take on entrepreneurship, own your own business type of model. And, I'm very blessed and fortunate to be with that business, to be with that company. Wish them the best. They owe me like $200,000, no problem. But at the end of the day, I wish them the best. You know what I mean? I've turned it into a career, and I've been able to, make this successful. And I'm grateful for this, for roofing, for this industry being so open, like for yourself, open up the podcast for me and someone that's kind of only been doing this for, close to 3 years, 2.5 years. And like, just the industry as a whole. Like, you're not just the only person. Like, there's so many people that have been super awesome to like work with and to like get to know better and build a relationship with. I mean, there's people in San Antonio that I've built relationships with. They're really awesome people, business owners that I have a lot of respect for. People all over Houston, I've got a lot of respect for. And, you know, I'm glad to be a part of a group of people that want to change the industry for the better. And just, you know, basically break the mold from the whole, you know, bad stuff. You know what I mean? We can get into those, but I mean, it's all that bad stuff that's out there, man. It's a lot of it, but you know, staying strong in that has been pretty fun. I got a lot of people to look up to, including yourself. So
I appreciate that sincerely, my friend. So we're coming up. This has actually been a super fast hour. I have enjoyed this so thoroughly. I always like to end with the you know, the obligatory. How can people follow you? How can people watch your journey as you continue to grow and evolve with the industry? People that are interested in coming maybe to work for you or be prospects in that at least.
yeah.
What's the best way to get a hold of Joshua Keith and to follow you and to become a fan and watch you become a dominant player in this industry?
Well, they can all find me on Instagram at Joshua Adam Keith, just my full name. That's my username. They can follow our YouTube journey at Roofing Technologies Unlimited. They can find me on Facebook and add me as a friend. Just my name, Joshua Keith. If you're friends with Chuck, you know, I'm friends with Chuck too, so you can find me there, as well as you can find our Roofing Technologies Unlimited page, our business page there, or you can go to my website, rtuhtx.com. Shoot me an email. You know, get a hold of my number on there and just call me, text me, say, hey, what's up? I saw your podcast, and I'll respond. I'm pretty responsive. So that's a good way to do that. I mean, should I drop my number?
Absolutely. Whatever you want to do, my friend. It's your platform.
Cool.
If you want a bunch of random people, because I'm not going to lie, I have fans all over the world. So if you want people from the island of Vanuatu calling you, now's your shot.
832-866-9595. I'd love to entertain you guys and talk to you. I will be here in the next, after I do a circuit this summer, maybe come back on to Keeping It Rio. But I will be starting my own podcast. I kind of wanted to kind of gain, you know, a little bit more traction before just like, hey, another roofing podcast, right? Like, so I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for, I'm very humble, you know what I mean? Like, all glory to God, you know, I appreciate you for allowing me to be on here and hang out. And it was a very quick hour. I mean, that's awesome. I love
we'll definitely come back around at a little bit down the road, and we'll continue on with our journey and our conversation. So I appreciate you very much for taking the time to be here today. It's a Saturday afternoon. I appreciate every single person that watches and supports Keeping It Rio. It's amazing to me, especially here the last couple of weeks. I've been calling people through Business 411. It's amazing to me, and it's incredibly humbling how many people have actually watched this, because this was never supposed to be a thing. It was just supposed to be a joke, and here we are. So I appreciate all of that. I appreciate Joshua Keith for being on today, and you know, like always, subscribe to our stuff and like it and share it and do everything you can to help me get the word out so we can continue to do this. I think I'm going to start doing 2 episodes a week here pretty soon, because I'm starting to get a nice little backlog, and that's a good thing. So thank you, everybody. Until next time, keep on keeping it Rio.